Hello guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of SolidWorks for beginners. So if you're not familiar with SolidWorks, or even if you're not familiar with CADing in general, this tutorial is for you. Today we're going to talk about cutting and making holes in objects. So let's open up our previous file that we made in part 1. So in order to open up a previous file, we're going to click this icon, and we had it saved as part 2, and now we're going to open it. And it's going to take a second. So in order for us to actually cut a hole, what we're going to do is just basically sketch a shape in our extrusion and then extrude it as much as we can. So we can regulate a lot of parameters in SolidWorks, which is why this program is really good and very precise, because you can set up all of the measurements. And today we're going to learn how to do that. Let's just wait for it to load. Okay. So, let me make this full screen. So, let's look on our menu here. So we have an extruded cut, we have a hole wizard, we have a revolved cut, and we have a couple of other ones, okay? So for today, we're just going to talk about the extruded cut and the hole wizard, and later on, we can talk about more things. Alright, so let's say I want to make a hole throughout this rectangle. I'm going to click on the plane on which I want to make the hole. So in this case, I want to make it on the top. You can also make it on the side over here, on the bottom, doesn't matter. I want to choose this surface. So always remember to choose your surface. And then I'm going to click Extruded Cut. And then, let's say I want to make a circle. I'm going to click circle over here in sketch, and as you can see, if I align my cursor with the axis, it's going to give me this little dotted line just to guide me if I wanted things to be even. I'm going to start it here like this, and I'm going to enter, let's say I want the radius to be 7, random number, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to click the green check mark as usual, wait for it to process, exit sketch. Okay, and now if you can see, we have this extrusion, and now we can control how far it goes. And this is the interesting point. So, let me move this a little bit. Okay. So we can first do the blind, as if you can remember from extrusions, we also had the option to do blind. This means that you can just enter a value of how far you want it to go. So let's say I want it to go 20 millimeters down. See how it automatically does it. I can also, let's say I want to do a hole throughout the entire object. I can click through all, and it also automatically adjusts itself. I can click through all both. It's basically the same thing, it's just if you're using a mid-plane. I can click up to next, up to vertex, up to surface. They're pretty much the same, just depending on what you're using as your boundary. Offset from surface, it's not used very often, but if you wanted to offset your hole, you can move it down or move it up. Let's say if you just want it to be inside of the object rather than starting from the plane that you clicked. Up to body, pretty much the same thing as all of these, and mid-plane, it's the same as an extrusion. So I usually do through all, just because it's convenient. And again, we have the second direction here. So if I had some kind of an object on top as well, I could also click second direction, and then as you can see, the hole would go up, and you can specify some things here too. Thin feature is a little bit different. This is, let me click it for you and show you what it means. Never mind, I can't click it. Basically what thin feature does is it's similar to a shell. So if you're trying to make a hole that is a very small thickness, SolidWorks is automatically going to categorize it as thin feature. Nothing bad about it. I don't usually use it, but if you wanted to make something of very small thickness, this is a good feature to use. Okay, so now that we have made this, we're going to click OK. Alright, see, so now we start getting errors, which is also very important thing to talk about. Usually when I get errors, first click out. It usually means you clicked on something wrong. Okay, so I click out, I go back into my sketch, I check that my sketch is fully closed. That's usually the first problem with the sketches. What I mean fully closed, it means that there are no holes, there are no interruptions in the sketch. Since this is a circle, there are no interruptions, and I know this. I'm going to exit sketch, click on it again, and try to extrude cut. Now, in order to eliminate the error, I'm just going to check for any intersections, also anything that might be wrong. From what it looks like, it seems that everything is fine, so I'm going to try this again. And there we go, I got a hole. So as you can see, sometimes if you click around things and then go back, SolidWorks might freak out and it might cause an issue. So just reverse your steps, go back to your sketch, and the program is going to fix itself. But I am going to make a separate video about different errors that you can encounter because they can be pretty annoying. So as you can see, now we have this hole that goes throughout the entire object. Okay, and you can make them different shapes, right? A rectangle, a circle, anything you want. Okay, so now let's talk about Hole Wizard. Okay, Hole Wizard is usually something that you use for different types of screws. So if you're maybe in mechanical engineering or you're trying to make an object that requires screw-ins, you're probably going to want to use this option. So the way it works, it's pretty similar to the cut option. So you have to select a plane, and then you have different hole types, right? Over here, as you can see, and you can select whichever one fits you. You have the standard, you have different types of screws over here. You can configure to whatever you need. Over here also, we have a bunch of different options. You can also specify the hole size and do any custom modifications. Actually move this over here because I don't know if you can actually see from this menu. Okay, so yeah, fit also, yeah, you can do close, loose, normal. I usually just select normal. And condition, this is the same thing as cut, so blind, which you can specify how far you want it to go, through all up to next, so anything like that. So let's go through just a quick example on how to install it. Let's say I want this type of screw, and I'm going to click here, and it's going to tell me I need to select a point. So let's say I select a point over here, click OK, and now I have my hole that is according to my specifications of the screw, as you can see right over here. And remember, as always, if you want to remove any type of those sketches or anything like that, you can also do this later on. Okay? So you can see from the side also how it's cut. Very convenient if you're trying to do something with very strict specifications. Okay, so that's basically all there is about holes. So now let's do just one more. Let's look at revolved cut. Okay, so if we're looking at revolved cut, first of all, obviously we need to make a sketch. I'm going to start with doing it halfway through my cylinder. So I'm going to use my front plane, and I'm going to do a quick sketch. Usually what I use it for is to make some kind of cylindrical cuts. So, which you can also do with a circle, but just for the purposes of demonstration. Let's say I want my cut to be like this. I'm going to click OK, exit sketch, features, I'm going to select my sketch and do revolved cut. And make sure your cut is going through an object. So let's say if I wanted to make my cut inside of this, the software is going to give me an error because there is nothing there to cut. So make sure there is solid body wherever you're trying to cut. So just the same as an extrusion, I'm going to select my axis of revolution. Again, you can do it as this way, this way, this way, this way, anything you want. I want it to be like this, and you can also again adjust how far you want it to go, so you can make it less, so that there's like a little cut here. You can make it full. You can also do the second direction, which we don't typically use in revolved, but in case you need it. Okay, got it. As you can see, because I didn't do the full revolution, we have a small edge here, just to show that it's possible. So because of the way that I drew it, just pay attention, it doesn't go all the way through, right? Because our rectangle only went up to over here. But you can also make it longer, make it go all the way through. So these are just two different types of how you can make a hole versus using a circular feature and also using the revolved cut. Okay, and I think that's it for today. Thank you so much.